Okay, so you know how search engine algorithms always seem to be changing, right?
Yeah.
And it can feel like you're kind of always playing catch up, trying to figure out like how to get your content seen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if I told you there's this tool that's kind of like a secret decoder ring for search engines?
Okay.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. Word embeddings.
I like it.
We're going to unpack how this crazy powerful tool can like totally revolutionize your SEO strategy.
Yeah.
And to guide us on this little adventure, we have an expert in SEO modeling with us today.
Hey.
They were kind enough to share like a super detailed guide with us about using word embeddings for SEO.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see more and more people kind of taking an interest in this because it really is like a fundamental shift in how we think about SEO.
Totally. Okay, so first things first. What exactly are word embeddings?
Okay.
So imagine like all the words in the English language scattered across this giant map.
Oh.
Words that are related to each other, right? Like coffee, latte, espresso, they all be clustered together.
Yeah.
That's basically word embeddings in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like mapping out all the relationships between words.
Yes.
But instead of us like manually drawing this map, word embeddings use these powerful algorithms to analyze like massive amounts of text data.
Right.
And they use that to figure out which words tend to appear together in similar contexts.
Exactly. And that's what's really fascinating is that it can understand context, which, in the world of SEO now is increasingly important.
So does that mean that like that old school tactic of keyword stuffing, like packing your website full of one specific keyword that's not going to cut it anymore?
Yeah. If you're aiming for like sustainable long-term success, it's definitely not the way to go.
Gotcha.
Search engines are getting much smarter.
Right.
They're trying to understand what your content is really about. And even more importantly, I think what the user is really searching for.
So that's where word embeddings come into play.
Exactly.
And our source on this, a company called Market Brew, they're like the gurus of SEO modeling.
They're great.
And the cool thing is they actually UEC word embeddings in their own products.
Yeah.
So they're not just like talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
Yeah. And their approach is really interesting because they're really, they're looking beyond just those individual keywords.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the entire, web of relationships between those keywords.
I like that web of relationships. Okay, so how does all of this translate into like actionable strategies?
Right.
For someone who's like, okay, this sounds cool, but like, how do I actually use this to boost my SEO?
Yeah.
Let's get practical. Let's start with keyword analysis.
Okay, sure. So this is where things get really kind of cool and interesting, I think. Imagine you're trying to rank for something like sustainable fashion, right?
Okay.
If you were to just do like traditional keyword research, you might just end up with these really obvious choices like eco-friendly clothing or organic cotton, something like that.
Yeah.
But with word embeddings, you can uncover all these hidden gems, these related terms that you might not otherwise think to target.
So it's like having this secret weapon that tells you what your audience is really searching for, even if they're not using those like exact words that you would expect.
Exactly. Yeah, for sustainable fashion, it might uncover things like circular wardrobe or ethical manufacturing or even slow fashion movement.
Wow.
And these are all things that your target audience is actually using.
Yeah.
These are terms that signal like a much deeper understanding of what they're looking for.
So it's not just about finding any keywords, it's about finding the right keywords.
Right, yes.
The ones that actually resonate.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so our guide also points out this other super interesting application, content generation.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So let's stick with sustainable fashion for a second. Say you want to create content that really stands out right. Yeah. The guide gives this great example where you can actually feed sustainable and fashion those two words into a system that understands word embeddings, and you'll get back all these other related concepts.
Okay, so give us the inside scoop, like what kind of content ideas might come out of that?
You might find really fascinating connections there, like upcycled clothing design, the environmental impact of fast fashion.
Interesting.
Or even like minimalist wardrobes. And again, these aren't just like random ideas that are being pulled out of thin air. These are directly informed by how people are searching and talking about this online.
It's like word embeddings are giving you this like direct line to the collective mind of your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what they're interested in, what their motivations are.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Okay, so it doesn't stop there though, does it?
Mm-hmm.
The guide also talks about this idea of like understanding user intent, which is all super important.
Yeah, it really is. It's about going beyond just like the surface level of what someone types into that search bar
Right.
and really understanding like the why behind it.
Okay.
So they use this example in the guide, best pizza near me, right?
Okay. Simple enough.
Seems pretty straightforward.
But I feel like I know where you're going with this.
But someone searching for that
Yeah.
could be looking for a completely different thing than someone else searching for the same thing.
Right.
They could be looking for like a cheap slice for lunch or a family-friendly restaurant to go with their kids. Or they could be looking for a late-night spot that delivers.
Oh.
Word embeddings can actually help differentiate all those little nuances, all those like micro-intents.
So instead of just optimizing for pizza, you can optimize for all those specific needs in those situations.
Exactly.
That's so smart.
It's really about aligning your content with how people are actually searching.
Yeah.
Word embeddings help you kind of hit that sweet spot where you're attracting the right audience at the right time.
Totally.
And it all circles back to this idea of how search engines are evolving.
How so?
They're moving towards this thing called semantic understanding,
Okay.
which basically means it's not just about matching those keywords anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It's about understanding the meaning, the intent behind them.
Gotcha.
And that's what makes word embedding so powerful. It's like it gives you this little glimpse into the future of SEO.
And speaking of the future of SEO, our source market brew, they're not just like theorizing about this stuff.
Right.
They're actually putting this into practice with their own products.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they've really gone all in on this. One of their tools, it's called the AI Overviews Visualizer, and it uses word embeddings to analyze like all the top ranking pages for a specific keyword.
Oh, wow.
It's like they created this X-ray of the competition.
So instead of just like guessing what's working for other people in your niche, you can actually see like with pinpoint accuracy which concepts are like clustered together, which ones are the most influential.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's like having a roadmap to SEO success.
Totally.
And they don't stop there. They actually use word embeddings in their A/B testing platform as well.
Okay, so I'm guessing this lets people like test out different versions of their web pages and see which one like performs better with the algorithms.
Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect example of how they're using like this really cutting edge technology to solve these real world SEO challenges that people are facing. They're not just saying, oh, this is cool and interesting. They're actually showing you that it works.
Yeah, I love that. It's not just theoretical. It's about like actually getting ahead of the game.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of getting ahead of the game, there's this other fascinating application that the guide touches on that I wanted to make sure we talk about.
Okay.
Language translation and localization.
Yeah, that's a really interesting area. We live in such a globalized world now, and word embeddings can really help you tap into those global audiences.
So we're not just talking about like doing a straight up word for word translation here. We're talking about like preserving the meaning and the context across different languages.
Yes, exactly. And it's, think of it this way. Instead of just translating best pizza near me into like 10 different languages, word embeddings can actually help you understand how people in those different countries, in those different cultures, how do they express that concept naturally?
Well, that's so interesting.
So maybe in Italy, it's about finding the most authentic pizza.
Right.
But in Japan, maybe it's all about the perfect crust texture,
So you're capturing those like really subtle cultural differences and making sure that your content resonates no matter where someone is searching from.
Exactly.
It's like having a global marketing team built into your SEO toolkit.
It's really a game changer for businesses that are trying to grow and reach a wider audience.
Totally. Well, after this deep dive into the world of word embeddings, it's clear that this isn't just some like passing fad in the SEO world.
It's definitely here to stay.
This is about understanding like the language of the internet itself.
It really is. Yeah, it's about, taking that step beyond just targeting keywords and stepping into this whole world of semantic understanding.
And that's what makes it so exciting. It's about like communicating with search engines on this deeper level, really revealing the true meaning and value of your content.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the heart of it all, right? It's not about algorithms. It's not about rankings. It's about creating content that truly connects with humans.
At the end of the day, that's what matters.
Exactly. And we've explored the how of word embeddings. Now it's time for you, our listeners, to take this knowledge and figure out the why.
Yeah, I love that.
How are you going to harness this power to tell your story, to get your message out there, and to build those meaningful connections online?
It's an exciting time.
That is some food for thought.